All right, guys, welcome back. Today I'm working on Mr. Ace. I need to do two things. I need to test the voltage at the alternator output, and then I need to remove the alternator. I'm gonna confirm that the voltage coming out is improper before I go ahead and remove it. Now to get started on that, I need to remove the driver's seat and gain access to the alternator area, which is actually under here. So let me get to that first. Shout out to Back Pew. They're actually a local brewing company, so yep, I've had their stuff before. It's pretty good. This is Satire's Swill Bach. Looks pretty good. My apologies for the birds. We have loud as hell birds around here. So I'm gonna start by I think I can disconnect these first. Maybe I shouldn't. Hold on. No, wait, I gotta go disconnect this first. Hold on. There we go. Sorry for the shaky camera. I'm gonna start tinkering with this. I'm running a newer phone. A much nicer camera. I could invest in a video camera, but the quality seems pretty good, and I'm only really doing sort of entry-level videoing type stuff, so I'm not horribly worried about it. I'll go ahead and disconnect my battery here, get that off to the side. Also, for anybody wondering, I'm running a 65 EXT 850 CCA battery, so it's a size 65. You could probably run something bigger, but this is like one of the bigger ones. I would actually like to trade this in to get a taller one, because the problem I ran into, if I grab the bracket here, I don't know, is the back bracket in here? Yeah, I've got the bracket for the battery. I want to show you all the issue I've ran into. So you've got your bracket here, right? This is the factory one. Well, put this in here. Do y'all see the problem? It is about an inch too short, and really, it's probably like an inch and a quarter too short before it's able to like hold it down. So that's a problem. I thought about getting a piece of wood, but I don't like doing things like that. I don't like being that janky. So also came with an owner's manual. Wagon. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this. Just a 10 millimeter. It's nothing too crazy. I believe we need to go the other way. Got some of your main fuses here, and luckily they're in English. Some vehicles, they're not English. Oh, it's the other way. I'm dumb. By the way, shout out to Mud Bugs in Huffman for anybody that's local. Very good crawfish. I got me 2 pounds earlier. Let's go ahead and put that up. And I may have to get a flathead on this. I remember having to I actually had to bend this bracket out a little bit, because these posts are farther in compared to Japanese batteries, or at least the battery this one had from Japan. I would assume that's a normal thing on these. So I think I may actually have to take a flathead to this, but no, maybe not. There we go. Cool. I just need that disconnected, then I'll put a little towel in there. Just totally noticed this. I knew that this had moisture in it, but you can actually see here if I zoom in, the whole seal's just trashed. So I'm gonna have to take a heat gun to this and probably try to reseal it. This one doesn't seem to be having that problem. I do have the defogging kit to make these super clear. And then I'm also gonna try to source, I think, this side, because it's got a crack, big crack there, and it's got some micro cracking going on here. So yeah, let me see what size bolts these are. It's probably gonna be under these little covers, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yep, that's what I thought. These actually have been replaced. You can tell they've been removed to be worked on. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that's a 14. Let's see. Yeah, it's a 14. You could probably do this with an electric ratchet, but I'm slow, so let me get this loose and then I'll be right back. Now, to get to these back ones, you do kind of have to come in through the sliding door. Kind of have a lot of stuff in here. There's a bolt back there. It looks like there's probably going to be a bolt. Let's see here. There's these little like quick snaps right here. These little brown ones all over the car to kind of get the stuff. There we go. Let's see what we got in here. Looks like this just kind of comes loose. Yep, just Velcro here. So we pull this back, because we got a wiring harness there. Hatch here, very cool. It looks like we've got our last bolt right there. Sweet. And there's probably gonna be a main electrical connector on the front forward facing side of this. FYI for anybody doing this at home and watching this video before they do the alternator removal, you do need to make sure you have your seat kind of moved forward a little bit. Keep this from touching. You're gonna have the seat forward enough to get to this one, because I just had to reconnect the battery to move it forward, because as you can tell, these are kind of slanted out, but this bolt here out of all of them is like straight up. So yep, one more bolt. Also, these 2 rear bolts you can just stick in your ashtray. It's a good reuse of it. So it looks like the seat is now loose, and let me see where this electrical connector is. So it looks like there's also this little arm here that you got to disconnect. Interesting. Put that there. I'll put this here. I don't know if having this zoomed out is probably going to be helpful. Anyway, it looks like this. There's this little arm thing. I don't know what the heck this is for. Huh, I'll have to see once I get the seat out. Alright guys, so I got the seat out. The electrical connector is here. It's a pretty big old connector. It's right there. It's got a little push down on it on the male side. So what you'll do is you'll just push down and pull and it'll come out. This is that bolt here, and then I'm actually going to thread it back in so I don't lose it. I have no idea what this is for. So you have your parking brake here, obviously. But if I go over here, there's literally, it's just this. It bolts here, and then it's like a, I have no clue. Maybe this is part of the ground for your seatbelt electrical, so you know your seatbelt's on. I'm not 100%. If anybody has some advice on that. Other than that, though, there's very, very well hidden electrics here. And this carpet kind of goes over the rear. Interesting. Cool. Well, time to dig into these panels. I need to probably get this carpet loose. Probably have to get this trim loose. We'll see. So there's a button here. Oh, it's really clean. So I need to get that hood area up. And then it looks like we've got a hatch here and here. I think the only hatch I need to get though is this, from what I've seen. So let me get to digging. It looks like these are going to be some 10 mils, maybe 12s. All right, so I took the sun visor down so y'all can kind of see more light in here. I got the main engine hatch open. That's how y'all can see that goes up. There's actually a little tether on the other side. It holds this whole big old thing up. You think it's louder in here with an engine right under you, but it's surprisingly quiet. So it looks like this just kind of slides under your parking brake. Yep. Move this back. So it looks like there's going to be bolts that kind of go around here. I don't think I need to access these. This is actually the top end of your air box, which is kind of interesting. There's also some sound deadener, which is nice to know. Could probably go with an upgrade. It's like you've got one of your main harness looms. This is probably going to be for your 12 volt, all your electric curtains and stuff like that. It's nice to know that they're inside. They also label which side of this is front. I am probably going to have to disconnect this. It looks like, yeah, see they put a plug here. So I bet the whole parking brake comes off with it. Somehow, I don't know. I'm going to have to see how this cable comes loose. Let's dig into it. I hope y'all don't mind. Kind of going slow with me here. I'm kind of learning as I go. Looks like I can pull this carpet back like that. It's all kind of pre-molded, which is kind of cool. I bet money that's going to be a 10. Let me take it. That actually might be a 12. I think that's a 12. Let me go grab mine. Yeah, I'm getting good with this stuff. It's a 12 mil. So let me go ahead and get this one. It looks like there's a few bolts that hold it around, and then come back. Little fidbit here. Little tidbit, I guess is the proper word. Most of these are going to be the same length, all these little hold down bolts. There's a bracket here that y'all need to watch out for. I'm assuming it's for, I'm actually not sure what it's for, but it's there, so I'm going to have to remember that. There's also a bolt here, which is on this little sort of, I want to say like a composite, maybe, it looks like it's a fiberglass. There's little fibers, little fiberglass cover here that will need to be removed to get this shield off. I'm going to have to, hopefully getting this parking brake loose isn't too bad, but we'll see you guys. Finally starting to, you know, get started on this vehicle. I don't know if any of y'all know, but I'm in school and I work at the same time while doing this. I actually want to be dailying this vehicle instead of my Ford Focus, which may or may not make a lot of sense, but I think this thing's awesome and I think I can get my use out of it. Anyway, more to come. I've got a bunch of videos I want to make. I want to make some videos on doing the doing the shock replacement. You know, all the parts I got front rotors, pads, all new shocks for the whole thing, because there was one that was bad on the front and the back, so I'm just gonna swap them all. I got a new timing belt, the water pump. I got a bunch of crap, like everything you can think of for maintenance on one of these older vehicles is what I need to do. I'm also gonna go ahead and disconnect this. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be in there, but that's okay. Luckily, old Toyota connectors look to be like they're pretty strong. Let me not jinx myself here. It's just kind of hard to do one-handed. Let's see here. It looks like that just goes down. Let me, if I can, I'm gonna get two hands on this. Awesome. You just gotta get your fingernail to kind of press down on this. This doesn't look horrible. I think we'll remove all these bolts. I have a whole bunch. I'm just gonna put them all down here. Yeah, see that little flickering? I think that's the shutter for my video. I am recording in 60. I like to record in 60, it's smooth. Anyway, let's see what's under here. I've never looked under here with my light on. There's your AC compressor. Parking brake cable. I'm gonna have to see how to disconnect this crap. Looks like there's your air intake tube. Interesting. Okay, let me, oh, there's your alternator right there. That's what I gotta get to. Obviously, I'm not doing this with the manual because I like learning things. So I took this bracket loose. There's only two Phillips here, the front and the side. Looks like this parking brake cable is not gonna be able to be removed. I do not think. Well, I probably could remove it. But I think what I might be able to do is just move the hatch. Well, maybe. Let me see if I loosen tension on this. One sec. Thank God for automatics. I know I should have put a wheel chock on this, but it shouldn't roll anywhere. I think what I can do after putting the parking brake back down is I think I can actually get this loose. Yeah, I definitely can. I'm gonna have to get this. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get this loose. One sec, guys. So it looks like what you can do is you can actually get this off from around the bottom of that. I should be able to just pull the cable out. Now that I got the cable out, let me change this here. So what I'm trying to do is get the cable loose from this hatch. That way I can kind of remove the hatch completely. But I also don't want to like mess with the adjustment. Hold on here. This is really hard to do one-handed, by the way. I should probably get like a head mount, but can't make money for everything. So it looks like, pull this back enough. Yep, there we go. Now, I should be able to get this boot loose and just pull the cable out. All right, after a million years, I figured it out. So there's two 12mm bolts that go upwards through this parking brake cable bracket here. I'm just gonna put this off to the side. That is bolted to the underside of here, underneath, and that kind of holds it all together. It's really interesting, actually. I'm gonna keep that with that. There's also all of this hardware here that goes with that too, and that all goes with the plastic bit of the, this goes back here and it kind of holds the cable thing in. Very interesting. All right, well, after a million years, moving on. I also need to find the other bolt that went into oblivion, but I'll find that one a little bit later. I got a magnet. So there's our alternator there. I actually need to run the motor and confirm the voltage right now, because I can put my multimeter right there and that should be the output. So let's see. All right, so what I've been doing here is, one, I did swap out my 65 EXT for a now 27 MS marine starting battery, and I installed a quick connect that actually fits now and it starts really good. What I'm actually going to do is swap these belts, the AC compressor, power steering, and the two alternator belts, which are down there, before I decide to take the alternator off, because it's a whole thing. But I think it may actually be the belts. It may not actually be the alternator that's bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap those, and we're gonna see how that goes. Anybody wondering how to get the AC compressor belt off, all you gotta do is, this is the tensioner here for it. You loosen that 14mm, which is on the pulley, and then you take a 12mm to this. And then this is literally just a little slider, and you can move that up and down. If we come over here and check compressor belt, this thing was, I've never seen a belt this bad that's actually held. It's pretty bad. It's been through a few heat cycles. I have no idea what the age is, but that is disgusting. I'm pretty sure I could like break this in half almost. Yeah, look at that. It's disgusting. All right, let me see how to get this other belt off. Now getting to the alternator tensioner looseness, you got to take this length 12 mil with whatever abomination I have here to get to that forward one. So that one there, that there, and then this should be the adjustment right there, if my thing will focus. Yeah, right there. That's the adjustment on the actual tension for the belts. So I gotta figure out what has to come loose. I've never done one of these. Well, in my quest of research, I'm going to go ahead and loosen the AC compressor mounting bolts and see if I can move the compressor to right here. There's an upper bolt holding the swiveling point of the alternator, and it's literally inaccessible unless you move the compressor, which kind of makes sense because if you look closely at these bolts, notice how they've been moved before. So this must be a common fun job. Anyway, let me get this loose and see what we see. By the way, to get the compressor loose, I got loud neighbors. To get the compressor loose, you got 2 lower 12 millimeters and 2 uppers. That's it. This thing is just hard mounted because there's a tensioner there. It's not like your normal American compressor where it would be on a swivel. So yeah, it's pretty beefy boy. While I have this bracket loose, I'm also going to disconnect this plug at the compressor, this plug for that looks like at least the alternator, and then I think I need to unbolt this because it kind of winds through the Freon lines, and we don't actually want to disconnect these lines. We just want to make it to where we can lay the compressor sort of off to the side to get to the bolt. It's going to be kind of awkward, but it's really weird. But I have this bungee to the steering wheel. We don't want to disconnect these lines. We don't want to bend them too much. They are 25, 26. We've got to be careful. But if we look in here, there's your alternator. It looks like there's a bolt that you could probably access from the front. Of course, the belts are in the way, but if you see that bolt right there, I'm going to see if I can get a socket on it. It looks really thin, so let me see if I can get that loose. And this is going to be the bolt that the alternator kind of swivels on, if that makes any sense. And then you've got your tensioner one you can actually access from either up here like I showed you earlier, or you can actually go in from here if you remove this rubber. It's preference, it really is preference. Alright, so once this is cracked loose, I also I cleaned it all out since I do need to do a valve cover seal. There's a bunch of kind of oil and smudge that was everywhere. I cleaned it up a little bit. Once you get that loose, you can go ahead and go back to your tiny adjuster way down there, and you can start getting it loose. And then what you want to do is, if you intend to do this while leaving this on, what you do is you get it loose and then you have to kind of feed the belt over this line. So I still need to get this one off, break it loose over the fan pulley, right? Also get it loose from the crank pulley, watching out for your compressor. And then what you need to do is, you notice how it's behind the viscous fan. What you got to do is kind of slowly start wedging it around the fins, and then eventually it'll come out. Now you can totally take out the viscous fan to do this. It's just more work, and it's really not that hard to get it around the fan. So yeah, definitely make sure to watch out for your radiator. It is not fun to replace those. That's all it is, man. That's all it is. That's the last belt. Now I'll go ahead and put some new ones on. Do all that crap in reverse order. I would love to record that, but it's pretty late, and I think I'll kind of get the idea. If y'all have any questions, leave them down below. I'll leave my email for y'all in case any of y'all have a question. Y'all have a good night. Say bye to Mr. Ace and Chappie the Cappuccino, and get this thing all fixed up. Have a good night. By the way, guys, before I put this back together, just wanted to let y'all know what belts I'm using. I've got 2 pit work belts here. I believe this should be the air conditioning belt. It's a 3450. I guess that's the real part number. And then the 2 AC, or the 2 alternator belts are going to be these.